born not so much as to live. Stubby Wubby was ejected through a cosmic black hole like a toddler-shaped comet. He crash-landed into the heart of ancient Australia, where the Aboriginal people took him in, raising him with wisdom, stories, and Vegemite, probably. By adulthood, Stubby was a damned, no-snatching folk hero, whose first grand task was to slay the mythical bunyip. With muscles gleaming and a didgeridoo humming. He wrestled the beast into submission and hoisted it onto his shoulder like a fashionable marsupial purse.
The moon hangs low over the eucalyptus canopy. Cicadas drone. The air is thick with heat and silence. Stubby Wubby steps through the underbrush, his crimson eyes glowing faintly. Stubby, V.O. They told me the Yowie was a myth. A shadow. A story whispered around campfires. From between the trees, a towering figure emerges. 8 feet tall, covered in dark, matted fur, shoulders broad as boulders. Its eyes reflect the moonlight, not hostile, but ancient. The Yowie studies Stubby with a low, rumbling breath. Stubby. You're real. And you're huge. Great. The Yowie tilts its head, almost curious. Then it roars, a deep, resonant sound that shakes the leaves.
Deciding Australia wasn't wild enough, Stubby Wubby swam, yes, swam, to Egypt. There, he casually helped build a few pyramids. Hey, pass me that limestone block. Pharaoh, impressed, invited him to the great ostrich chariot race at the hippodrome. The crowd roared. Ostriches flapped. Stubby, steering like a caffeinated Ben-Hur, secured victory. Then, a farewell wink and another swim, this time to Greece.
Cue thunder. Enter Zeus. Stubby Wubby, he rumbled, complete these labors or I'll sneeze a lightning bolt. From wrestling the Nemean lion into a fluffy mane shawl, Stubby, V.O. They said the lion could not be harmed. That its hide was harder than bronze. That its roar could shake the marrow from your bones. They forgot to mention the smell. To outwitting the Hydra with geological finesse, Stubby Wubby, flat, unimpressed, die. Head meet boulder. The Ceryneian hind, a sacred deer with golden antlers, races through the trees. Stubby Wubby watches from a ridge, bow drawn. Stubby Wubby. Finally. I've been tracking you for an entire year. The hind leaps across a stream. Stubby Wubby. Softly. I'll be gentle, but I must take you alive. Stubby Wubby releases his arrow, precise and controlled. Twang. The arrow grazes the hind's leg, slowing it without causing real harm. The creature stumbles but remains proud and alert. Stubby Wubby. Approaching calmly. Easy. I won't harm you further. The hind snorts, tense but weakened. Stubby Wubby places a steady hand on its neck. Stubby Wubby. You'll be safe. This labor demands you alive, and alive you'll stay. The hind relaxes, accepting his strength and restraint. then Stubby Wubby fought the reclusive yet violent Erymanthian boar. The boar runs through smoke and fire, searching desperately. Erymanthian boar, VO. I smelled the smoke long before I saw the flames. I thought I could save them. I thought I could outrun the fire. He pushes through burning underbrush, coughing, eyes stinging. The forest collapses around him. Erymanthian boar, VO. I called for them. My mate. My child. My herd. Only the crackle of burning pine answered me. He reaches a small clearing, or what used to be one. The fire has passed here. The ground is black. Two shapes lie still. Erymanthian boar, VO. And then I found them. My partner, who ran beside me through every season. My child, who had only just learned to stand on trembling legs. They did not scream. They did not run. They simply stopped. The boar nudges them with his snout, trembling. Ash falls like snow. The world is silent. Erymanthian boar, VO. I tried to lift them. Tried to wake them. Tried to breathe life back into bodies already cold. But grief is heavier than any chain. And that night, it crushed me. He collapses beside them, letting out a low, broken roar that echoes through the burning forest. Erymanthian boar, VO. Something inside me died with them. The part that knew gentleness. The part that knew joy. What rose in its place was hunger. Not for food. For meaning. For vengeance. For anything that could fill the hollow they left behind. Silhouettes scattering, shouts echoing, dust rising. Erymanthian boar, VO. I did not choose violence. I was driven by it, by the fear that they would bind me again. I pushed past them. Some fell. Some fled. Some never rose again. I did not look back. The boar continues upward, breath ragged, the mountain looming above. Erymanthian boar, VO. I told myself I was running toward safety. Toward my herd. Toward the forest that raised me. But the truth waited for me at the summit, a truth made of ash and silence. During the daytime, the boar alone on the barren mountain, eating mushrooms among charred stumps. Erymanthian boar, VO. When the flames died, silence took their place. I wandered the blackened earth, searching for voices that would never answer. The mushrooms were all that remained. They softened the memories. Blurred the edges. Turned grief into fog. I did not live. I drifted. Night, the boar descends into the wheat fields. His eyes glow red. The moon hangs low. Erymanthian boar, VO. At night, hunger drove me down the slopes. Not hunger for food, but for something familiar. Something alive. The fields were warm. The wind carried whispers. For a moment, I could pretend the forest still breathed. So I raided. Not out of rage. Out of longing. Stubby nods once. Stubby Wubby. Then let's get you somewhere safer. He lifts the boar, all 700+ pounds of divine muscle, across his shoulders. His skinny arms hold steady, unshaking. Boar. How do you carry me so easily? Stubby Wubby. Immortality has its uses. He starts down the mountain. Boar. What do they call you, calm immortal who should not have one? Stubby Wubby. Heracles. Which is funny, considering I look like someone forgot to draw the muscles. The boar snorts a laugh as Stubby carries him into the storm. The king slowly peeks his head out, pale, sweating, eyes wide. He sees the boar. He freezes. King. Th, that's the Erymanthian boar. He immediately ducks back inside the vase with a thunk. The vase rattles violently. He cleaned the Augean stables by flooding them with a river redirected by a rock. Total life hack. The Stymphalian birds.
The Cretan bull
Stomps the ground, snorting steam. Stubby tilts his head, red eyes glowing. Stubby. So you're the mighty Cretan bull. The great divine beast. The one kings trembled before. He steps closer. Stubby. Funny. I expected someone. I don't know, impressive. The bull growls. Stubby. I mean, you're famous, sure, but not for anything you did. You're famous because someone else's wife liked you a little too much. The bull jerks its head, furious. Stubby. Yeah, let's talk about that. You're not a legend. You're a walking scandal. A mythological embarrassment. The only creature in history whose biggest achievement was being too pretty for your own good.
Then the Minotaur Daddy defeated. Diomedes' fleshy arms were led away with a trail of crunchy apples. After defeating Amazons, fetching cattle, stealing golden apples.
Hades sits on his obsidian throne. Cerberus snarls, all three heads alert. Stubby Wubby. Lord Hades, I've come to complete my final labor. I must bring Cerberus to the world above. Hades. You walk my realm without fear. Immortal or not, my rule stands. If you want Cerberus, you must subdue him without weapons. Stubby Wubby. I accept. Cerberus lunges. Stubby Wubby wrestles the three-headed hound, enduring claws and fangs until the beast finally submits. Hades. Smiling faintly. Well done, Stubby Wubby. Few could manage that. Take him, but return him when your labor is done. Stubby Wubby. You have my word. Cerberus growls but follows Stubby Wubby toward the exit. Hades. Calling out. And don't linger. He belongs to the dead.
Stubby had officially graduated in Herculean chaos. In 1250 AD, he popped up in New Zealand.
The Waka lands. Warriors step out, forming a protective semicircle. Their leader emerges last. Rangatira Te Ariki, tall, tattooed with intricate tamoko, wearing a finely woven korowai cloak. He studies Stubby with calm authority. Te Ariki. Ke Hitu Ingoa. What is your name, stranger? Stubby tilts his head. Stubby. Stubby Wubby. The warriors exchange looks. Te Ariki does not flinch. The first light of morning spills across the sea. Mist drifts low over the sand. Warriors begin to stir from their cloaks, yawning, stretching, preparing for the day. Stubby Wubby is already awake. He stands perfectly still at the edge of the camp, facing the sunrise. He hasn't moved in hours. He hasn't blinked. He hasn't slept. His red eyes glow faintly in the pale morning light. A young warrior approaches, carrying a wooden bowl. Young warrior. You were standing there all night. Stubby turns his head slowly. Stubby. Yes. The warrior hesitates. Young warrior. Did you not rest? Stubby. I don't normally sleep. The warrior blinks, unsure how to respond. He hands Stubby the bowl, kamara, smoked fish, fried bread. Young warrior. Eat, then. Even spirits need strength. Stubby looks at the food like it's a puzzle. He pokes the kamara. Stubby. I don't usually eat either. Young warrior. Try it. It's good. Stubby takes a small bite of the fried bread. He pauses. His eyes brighten slightly. Stubby. It is. The warrior grins and walks off. Stubby finishes the meal with slow, deliberate bites, not out of hunger, but curiosity. The sky glows pink. Mist curls around the peaks. Birds circle overhead. Stubby and Teariki climb the steep path. Stubby moves effortlessly. Teariki moves with purpose. They reach a plateau, a stone platform carved with ancient patterns. At its center sits a stone well, glowing faintly with blue light. Teariki stands beside it. Teariki. This is Te Puna Tapu, the sacred well. Its waters test the heart of any who drink. Stubby steps closer. Stubby. What does it do? Teariki's expression hardens. Teariki. It shows you the truth of yourself. Your past. Your pain. Your purpose. Stubby's red eyes dim slightly. Stubby. I don't like looking back. Teariki. Then this challenge is meant for you. Then Stubby Wubby was
hydrated from blessed water atop a sacred mountain.
Teariki. What did you see? Stubby looks up, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Stubby. Enough to know why I'm here. Enough to know I'll fight for you. Teariki smiles, a rare, proud smile. Teariki. Then you have passed the challenge. You walk with us as one of our own. Stubby rises. Stubby, VO. And so I drank from the sacred well. And for the first time, I understood myself.
He soon joined Maori warriors as they sailed into battle. Stubby Wubby riding an orca, slicing through a tsunami like Poseidon's errand boy. A rogue wave wiped out the enemy fleet. That's Stubby. Subtle as a thunderclap.
Enemy paddlers shout in panic. Teariki places a hand over his heart. Teariki, Stubby Wubby, you have done what few could. You fought beside us. You protected our people. You turned the tide of battle. Stubby turns his head slightly, red eyes glowing faintly. Stubby, you asked for help, so I helped. Teariki smiles, tired, proud, grateful. Next stop, India. He snatched noses under the moonlight. By daylight? Arrested. The captain looks at his men. Captain, bind him. The villagers gasp. Stubby looks down at the ropes. Stubby, why, Captain? Because you are suspicious, and because the king wishes to question you. Sentenced to death by elephant. King, you will receive the death punishment by elephant. Gasps echo through the hall. Guards tighten their grip on their spears. Stubby blinks once, slowly. Stubby, okay, what's an elephant? The court erupts in confusion. The king stares at him, baffled. But Stubby Wubby zigzagged, parkoured, and ultimately, Stubby looks at the ropes on his wrists. Stubby, these are loose. He lifts his hands. The ropes fall off like wet noodles. A guard screams, guard, he's escaping. Stubby shrugs. Stubby, I didn't go anywhere. The elephant collapses dramatically, trunk flopping like a wet noodle. Stubby kneels beside it. Stubby, you okay, buddy? The elephant wheezes. Stubby pats its head. Stubby, same, I get tired too, emotionally. The king sighs deeply, the sigh of a man who has lost control of his entire kingdom in under 10 minutes. He points at Stubby. King, if you bring me another elephant that's bigger and stronger, then you'll join the battle and I'll drop your charges. Tamed an entirely different elephant. Inside the corral, Stubby slowly turns his head toward the elephant. He stares back. Stubby nods politely. Stubby, hello again. The elephant rumbles softly. Stubby pats it. Stubby, you're very friendly. I like you too. The guards watch in disbelief. The king storms up to the corral, robes swishing dramatically. King, is he still in there? Guard number 1, yes, my king. He hasn't moved. Guard number 2, the elephant seemed to like him. The king peers through the fence. Stubby is now sitting cross-legged on the ground while an elephant gently rests its trunk on his shoulder like a giant, affectionate cat. A royal messenger sprints across the courtyard, out of breath, dust flying behind him. Messenger, my king, my king. The king turns sharply. King, what now? The messenger bows deeply. Messenger, the enemy army. They have reached the eastern border. Gasps ripple through the guards. The king's face goes pale. King, already, we are not prepared. Stubby scans the horizon. Nothing, nothing, more nothing. Then, a faint flicker, a glow, a rising column of smoke. Stubby tilts his head. Stubby, that's not normal. He leans forward slightly. The glow grows brighter. Flames, lots of them. Stubby blinks once. Stubby, oh, that's bad. Mid-battle, earning redemption. He politely suggested cows be revered and lobbied for better treatment of bulls. Of course, they listened. In the Mongol Empire, a long silence. Genghis Khan, what are you? Stubby shrugs. Stubby, I am Stubby Wubby and my aim is to help assist of the expand Zion of the Mongol Empire. Genghis frowns. Genghis Khan, that is not a name, that is a noise. Stubby, it's both. He rode into war beside Genghis Khan atop a battle camel. Together, they trampled enemies and swapped memes, ancient style. A Mongol soldier limps towards Stubby, clutching his side. He stops a few feet away, breathing hard. Soldier, Stubby. Stubby Wubby. Stubby turns his head slowly. Stubby, yes. The soldier swallows, eyes full of fear and grief. Soldier, it's the Khan, Genghis. He is dying. Stubby blinks once. Stubby, dying from what? The soldier shakes his head. Soldier, a wound, a deep one. He hit it during the battle. He didn't want the men to see him weak. Stubby looks down at the battlefield. As Genghis lay dying, Stubby Wubby stayed at his bedside. A warrior respects a warrior. Captured by Aztecs, he negotiated peace until chaos struck. Riding into battle, this time, not on an orca or camel, but possibly a jaguar, Stubby saved the Aztec leader. earned a golden nose, and probably started a constellation before quietly leaving again. In the 1800s, "Leader, your eyes are not the eyes of a man, your steps make no sound, your scent is not of this land." Stubby nods politely. "Stubby, thank you." The leader frowns. "Leader, that was not a compliment." Stubby blinks. "Stubby, oh." A long silence. The leader sighs. "Leader, we are about to leave for a hunt. It will take many hours. Our people will remain here. If you mean harm, say it now." Through the trees, a herd of elk grazes peacefully, tall, majestic, antlers catching the morning light. The hunters crouch low. "Leader, stranger, you honor us. We will take only what we need, and we will thank the spirit of the elk for its life." Stubby nods. "Stubby, okay." The hunters perform the ritual swiftly and respectfully. The rest of the elk herd stays calm, still watching Stubby. He helped a Native American tribe fight off enemies. Bursting through the tall grass comes a massive albino bison, white fur glowing in the sun, and riding on its back, gripping its thick fur like reins, is Stubby Wubby. Tall, thin, red-eyed, expressionless. The clans freeze. Children gasp. Warriors whisper. He slept in a tomb for 95 years. Then Stubby leans forward slightly and says, "Stubby, etched," not loud, not angry, just "Ah." The reaction is immediate. A worker screams and faints, a guard drops his spear, another guard runs straight into a wall, the high priest falls backward into a pile of jars, a torch goes out. Woke up in 1910. Rescued a girl. Then boarded the Titanic. Naturally, he snatched noses and helped people escape as the ship went down, probably while humming. Stubby Wubby showed up in the trenches of World War I. It was June of 1944. Stubby Wubby sits beside her on a rooftop. She's sketching crooked lines in a notebook. He watches, silent. His red eyes flicker gently. Her. "You're staring again. Stubby Wubby. I like the way you draw. It's crooked." She laughs. He doesn't. But inside, something stirs. He doesn't know what to call it. He's not human. But whatever it is, it's hers. Then the sirens. Planes roar overhead. Explosions. Fire. Screams. Stubby wakes in rubble. Her notebook is torn. Her body is still. He kneels beside her, trembling. "Stubby Wubby. She wasn't mine. Not officially. But she was the closest I ever had to a girlfriend." He stands. His coat scorched. His eyes burn. He walks into the smoke. The water is black. Cold. Churning. Moonlight slices through the clouds in fractured beams. A lone figure swims, slow, deliberate strokes. No gear. No allies. Just a trench coat dragging behind him like a shadow. Stubby Wubby, swimming. They said the war would end soon. But for me, it never started. Not until she was gone. He doesn't breathe. He doesn't tire. His red eyes glow faintly beneath the surface. The tide is red. Smoke rolls like thunderclouds. The air is thick with screams and static. Stubby Wubby stands in the center of it all. His coat is torn. His pouch is full. His red eyes flicker like dying stars. Around him, German soldiers whisper, "Der Schattenkampf." Allied troops shout, "He's not one of ours." But no one dares approach. He moves again. A flamethrower team sets up behind a dune. Stubby appears beside them. One turns, too late. Stubby lifts a hand, and with eerie precision, snatches both noses. No blood. No pain. Just silence. Stubby Wubby, VO. They buried her in noise. I dig her up in silence. He walks into a trench. A German officer raises a pistol. Stubby doesn't flinch. He steps forward, grabs the officer's face, and takes the nose. The officer drops the pistol. Drops to his knees. Begins to sob. Stubby Wubby kayaked through the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980. Inside the pressurized diving chamber are Truls Hellevik, Edwin Coward, Roy Lucas, Billy Crammond. Outside assisting are Martin Saunders, William Billy Smith. The divers prepare for a routine saturation transfer. The atmosphere is focused, professional, and tense. Stubby Wubby steps closer to Saunders and Smith. He reaches out slowly, deliberately, and snatches their noses. Stubby Wubby was present for the decompression disaster aboard the Byford Dolphin in 1983. Noses were snatched. The sky burns orange over the North Sea. The rig is quiet, carrying the weight of the day. Stubby Wubby stands at the railing, the nose is still in his hand. He looks out at the sea, endless, cold, indifferent. Stubby Wubby, but I will remember them. He steps onto the railing and dives into the water, disappearing beneath the waves. The noses go with him. The night split open, a flash tore across the horizon, a shockwave rolled through the forest, The air turned to fire as reactor 4 exploded, sending a column of light into the sky. Inside an old maintenance shed near the plant, a small brown bat was thrown from his roost. He hit the concrete hard, wings trembling, breath fading. Radiation seeped into him, not enough to kill him instantly, but enough to twist something deep inside his cells. His eyes began to glow faintly in the dark. He crouched low, claws digging into the scorched earth. Then he leapt. The wind caught him, barely. His 4 wings flailed, fighting each other. The new pair dragged him sideways. The old pair strained to compensate. He rose only a few meters before spiraling downward, crashing into the dirt. Ash scattered, smoke curled around him. He lay there, panting, eyes glowing green in the dark. Stubby Wubby walked toward him. He knelt beside the creature, eyes solemn. The bat looked up, barely conscious. Stubby Wubby reached out, not to snatch a nose, but to offer something else. Stubby Wubby whispered, "You're not just surviving. You're changing." The bat's heart beat stronger, his bones thickened, his cells stabilized. He wouldn't just fly again, he would live longer than any bat should, longer than any creature born of ash and fire. Stubby Wubby stood. In Chernobyl, he teamed up with a radioactive bat to rescue a woman from danger. His last words before the explosion, "If I die a hero." He didn't. Stubby hesitates, just for a moment, then the wind shifts. A harsh, acrid smell rolls across the playground. A massive column of black smoke rises behind the hills. Thick. Heavy. Unbroken. The kind of smoke that only comes from something large, and living, being burned. The boy on the swing stops moving. Even he senses it. Stubby Wubby. That's the farm. Voice tightens. They're burning the bodies today. Stubby's red eyes narrow, reflecting the distant flames. Stubby Wubby, VO. You never forget that sight. The way the sky turned dark in the middle of the day. The way the air tasted like metal and fear. A low rumble echoes, machinery, trucks, generators, all working to feed the pyre. Stubby nods, but he doesn't move. He keeps staring at the smoke, as if trying to understand something no one ever explained. Stubby Wubby, VO. I didn't work then. Didn't have a role in any of it. But I watched. And watching was its own kind of burden. The boy looks up at them, confused, clutching his toy plane. The smoke thickens. The sky darkens. The wind carries the unmistakable scent of burning cattle. Stubby finally turns toward his son. Stubby Wubby, VO. He grew up with that smell. With that fear. With that world. He reaches out his hand. The road is quiet, lined with hedges and old stone walls. Stubby walks alone, boots crunching on gravel. The faint smell in the air, metallic, wrong, drifts toward him on the wind. He pauses, looking back toward the village. The warm glow of his partner's home is still visible between the trees. Stubby Wubby, VO. I told her it was a long day. Didn't tell her it was about to get longer. He imagines his son inside, toy plane buzzing through the living room. His partner calling after him. The small, ordinary sounds of a home untouched by what's happening beyond the fields. Stubby Wubby, VO. They didn't need to see this. Not my son. Not my partner. He turns back toward the open countryside. Stubby moves deeper into the farmland, the air growing stiller with every step. The smoke behind the outbuildings drifts lazily upward, but out here the fields are quiet, too quiet. He hears a soft, uneven sound. A low groan. Stubby freezes. Stubby Wubby, VO. I knew that sound. Every farmer did. But not like this. He steps toward a fenced-off paddock. A single cow stands near the far corner, swaying slightly, its head lowered. Its movements are slow, disjointed. Like its legs aren't quite listening to the rest of its body. Stubby's breath catches. Stubby Wubby, VO. I'd seen sick animals before. But this was different. He backs away instinctively, eyes fixed on the animal. Footsteps crunch behind him. The farmer approaches, wiping his hands on his trousers, trying to act casual, but his eyes give him away. Farmer. You shouldn't be out here. Stubby doesn't look at him. He nods toward the paddock. Stubby Wubby. She's got it, hasn't she? The farmer's jaw tightens. He doesn't answer at first. Farmer. We're dealing with it. Stubby turns to face him fully. Stubby Wubby. That's not a bit of sickness. You know what that is. The farmer exhales, long and tired. Farmer. We've been told to keep quiet. Keep it contained. They're coming in the morning. Stubby turns away from the paddock, leaving the sick cow behind him. The wind is colder now, carrying the faint hum of distant machinery and the low groans from the shed. He walks a few steps before his jacket pocket vibrates. He stops. Pulls out his old brick-like mobile. The screen flickers weakly. One new message. He opens it. His partner's name appears. The message is short. Partner, text. Something's not right with him. Can you come back? Stubby's breath catches in his throat. Stubby Wubby, VO. I'd only just left. Barely made it down the road. And already, something was wrong. He reads the message again, slower this time, as if the words might change. They don't. He looks back toward the farm, the smoke, the shed, the farmer still standing by the fence with his head bowed. Then he looks toward the village, where the faint glow of streetlights marks the way home. His hands shake. Stubby Wubby. Whispers. No, no, not him. He turns sharply, boots slipping in the mud as he starts back across the field. The farmer calls after him. Farmer. Stubby. You alright? Stubby doesn't stop. Stubby Wubby. My boy. Something's wrong with my boy. The farmer's face falls. He doesn't chase him, he just watches, helpless. Stubby breaks into a run, breath ragged, the cold air burning his lungs. Stubby Wubby, VO. I'd come here looking for answers. But the only thing that mattered now was back home. He climbs the gate in one motion and sprints down the darkening path toward the village. Stubby walks fast, boots thudding against the damp earth. The wind picks up, carrying the distant groan of the cow behind him, but he doesn't look back. His phone is still in his hand. The message from his partner glows faintly on the screen. Partner, text. Something's not right with him. Can you come back? Stubby's grip tightens. Stubby Wubby, VO. I dropped him off. Told her he was fine. But the truth was already walking beside me. He reaches the edge of the field and climbs the gate in one motion, landing hard on the other side. Stubby stumbles up the path, the porch light is on. The curtains are drawn. But something feels wrong, like the house itself is holding its breath. He bangs on the door. It opens fast. His partner stands there, pale, eyes wide. Partner. He's in the living room. He won't speak. He's just staring. Stubby pushes past her. The boy sits on the floor, toy plane beside him. His eyes are open, but distant. His hands rest in his lap, unmoving. Stubby drops to his knees. Stubby Wubby. Hey, buddy. It's me. You alright? No response. His partner kneels beside them, voice trembling. Partner. He said his head hurt. Then he stopped talking. Stubby pulls out his phone, hands shaking. Stubby Wubby, VO. I'd seen the cow. Seen the way it moved. And now my boy. He dials. 999 operator, VO. Emergency. Which service do you require? Stubby Wubby. Ambulance. It's my son. He's not responding. 999 operator, VO. Is he breathing? Stubby looks, the boy's chest rises, slowly. Stubby Wubby. Yes. But he's not, there. 999 operator, VO. Stay on the line. Help is on the way. Stubby holds the phone to his ear, eyes locked on his son. Stubby Wubby, VO. I'd gone looking for answers. But the truth had already come home. A memory hits him like a punch. Stubby Wubby, VO. The burger. Months ago. The one he loved so much he asked for another. The living room is filled with frantic movement. The paramedics kneel beside Stubby's son on the floor, working quickly, voices low but urgent. Stubby and his partner stand back, clinging to each other, helpless. Paramedic 1. He's not responding. Starting CPR. Stubby's partner lets out a choked sob, burying her face in Stubby's chest. Stubby holds her tightly, but his eyes never leave his son. Stubby Wubby, VO. I'd seen the cow. Seen the way it swayed. But nothing. Nothing prepared me for this. The paramedics continue their work, steady compressions, calm instructions, controlled urgency. The room feels too small, too quiet, too wrong. Paramedic 2. Come on, little man, stay with us. Stubby's breathing becomes uneven. His hands shake. His partner grips his arms so tightly her knuckles turn white. Partner. He was fine this morning. He was fine. Stubby can't answer. He can barely breathe. The paramedics exchange a look, brief, heavy, devastating. Paramedic 1. Checking. No pulse. They continue for a few more seconds, long, unbearable seconds, then stop. The silence hits like a blow. Stubby steps forward instinctively. Stubby Wubby. Why did you stop? Keep going. Please, keep going. The paramedic stands slowly, removing his gloves, voice soft and steady. Paramedic 1. Sir. I'm so sorry. He's gone. Stubby freezes. The words don't land at first. Then they do. His face crumples. His breath breaks. Tears spill before he can stop them. He drops to his knees beside his son, reaching out with shaking hands. Stubby Wubby. Whispering, breaking. No, no, buddy. I'm here. I'm right here. His partner collapses beside him, sobbing uncontrollably. Stubby pulls her close, but he's crying too, openly, painfully, the way a father cries when the world has taken something he can't live without. Stubby Wubby, VO. I dropped him off. Told her he was safe. Told myself the same thing. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. The paramedics step back, giving the family space. Stubby leans over his son, tears falling onto the blanket, his whole body shaking. Stubby Wubby, VO. I went to the farm looking for answers. But the only answer that mattered was lying right here. And it was too late. In 1999, Stubby Wubby fished with Hisashi Aoki, Yakakawa. Shouting. Run for your lives. Stubby Wubby lifts Hisashi under the arms, dragging him toward the changing room. Yakakawa watches, frozen in shock. Stood by him through unspeakable tragedy. And paid his respects at his funeral. It was quiet, solemn. A moment of stillness in a life of cyclones. And so Stubby Wubby walks the earth. Claiming noses, fighting chaos, and appearing just when he's needed most. They say if you ever feel a sudden breeze and a weird tickle at the tip of your nose, you may have just been Stubby Wubbed.